Welcome to the Voice of the Coast. I am your host, Danica. Along with me for an exclusive interview, we have Sheriff Blaise Smith, who is the Sheriff of St. Mary Parish. He is joining us by phone, and we have a few questions that we'd like to address with him, and he is so gracious enough to give us this interview. First and foremost, how are you doing, Sheriff?
I'm doing fine, and good morning.
Good morning to you. The first question I think that's on the minds of so many individuals and voters are asking, what is your current medical state? Now, I do recall from a previous press release that was posted that as of now, there is an unknown diagnosis. Can you elaborate on that?
Well, basically, that's what it is. I'm from Houston, from Texas to New Orleans. I've been to doctors, and they have not been able to pinpoint exactly what's going on. And one of the main issues in the last several months, I had 45 units of blood, but they did all the tests they could do, and I'm not losing blood anywhere. So they kind of stunned about what's going on.
When we talked previously, we were trying to at least try to think of a couple of things, and especially during this pandemic, so many individuals were dealing with COVID. Would you say that you are experiencing complications from COVID?
Yes, that's exactly. Excuse me. What happened was my body rejected, if you will, the treatment for it. And as a result of that, I spent 5 months in the hospital, 4 of them where I was just there. And on the 5th month, I woke up enough to communicate a little bit.
Now, you've been out of office since about March. We were trying to do the calculations on the last time that you were in office, and you say that that was March. We thought maybe it may have been late December or January, but you said that you were in office up until March. Since that time, yes, sir.
I was hospitalized in March, yeah.
And since that time, in your absence, how would you say that the duties of the sheriff have been distributed?
Well, I have a chief deputy, and I have a staff who are delegated to different areas of the department. I trust them, and they do a good job, and we stay in contact basically on a daily basis about what's going on.
So would you say that you're still in office? Because the question is, how do you justify to voters of the position that you have taken, not necessarily, I guess, physically being in office?
Right. I don't go to the courthouse, but we're doing a lot of work out of my house. If it's an important issue, we'll have a meeting over here. And sometimes just for daily, day-by-day events or a special event coming up, we'll meet about that also.
Those meetings, are they being held in person, on Zoom, by phone? How are you remaining in contact?
Yeah, they're face-to-face meetings when we meet over here.
And is it safe? And I mean, the reason being because, you know, you did mention that what you're experiencing that you do know of is that it's complications of COVID.
Mm-hmm.
Is it safe for you?
Yeah. I've been testing since I got out of the hospital. I'm tested weekly, and I haven't had any positive results. I mean, everything on that part of it is good.
With that being said, and you are in constant communication with your officers, your administrative officers, how are you, in what respect are you actually helping? Like, how are you able to help, in what capacity?
Well, I'm still a sheriff, and there's a lot of times I'll get a phone call to somebody asking for me, and I talk to them, and basically it's the same thing as if I was up there. I'm just over.
All right, we're going to take a short break. We'll be right back. Again, we are in an exclusive interview with Sheriff Blaise Smith, the Sheriff of St. Mary Parish, who's been joining us by phone. So please make sure to come back right here on the Voice of the Coast with yours truly. Welcome back to the Voice of the Coast. I am your host, Danica. Along with me, we have Sheriff Blaise Smith, the Sheriff of St. Mary Parish. He's joining us by phone for this exclusive interview. Thank you very much again for being with us, Sheriff Blaise. So, Sheriff, the question I have for you, I've already asked that having meetings in person with your administrative officers, you've already deemed that they're not unsafe. The question is, if that is the case, do you think being in office, if it's not unsafe for face-to-face contact with you, why hasn't that been the option for you to join the department once again?
I'm not quite sure what you're asking.
Asking, is it unsafe for you to meet with the public? Because you've said that it's not unsafe for you to meet with admin who have come to your home, but are you able to meet in office if you were to rejoin the department in your office?
The reason I can't meet in my office is because I'm not mobile. I'm learning how to walk right now. I guess 5 months in the hospital took its toll. Right. But no, I get tests once a week. In fact, I'll be tested again Thursday. And ever since since I got out of the hospital, everything's been negative as far as COVID is concerned.
Okay, well, with that said, are you saying that you're on the upswing, that things are looking positive for you?
Yes, ma'am. Physical therapy was here this morning, and they're the ones that are working with me right now to help me start walking again.
I know that you want to make a statement to the public, and that is about your future in not running again for re-election. What brought on that decision?
Well, there's several things. Of course, health is one. My age is another. This next election, when it comes up next year, I'll be 74 years old, which means at the end of that term, I'll be 78. There's nothing wrong with that. I just feel I put my time in already. And I look around, and I just want to be honest with myself, my family, and the general public, and St. Mary Parish, and step aside and let somebody possibly younger or with new ideas step up to it.
This election, the current position you're in, runs out October 2023. Do you anticipate fulfilling your duties up until then?
Yes, ma'am. I plan on being back in the office itself within a couple of weeks, and I will finish up any project that we have for, and probably have a couple of new projects.
What is the morale like at the correctional facility, along with your administrative officers and the patrol division? What's the morale like there with not having you in office?
I get calls from deputies, people with rank every day, checking on my health, asking what they can do for me, and telling me that they miss me. So I think the morale is pretty good from my standpoint.
I'll give you this moment. Excuse me, I apologize. Because you've already made the position that you're not going to be running again. However, you will be back in office before this term runs out. Can you tell us very shortly, how would you like to be remembered?
Well, I'd like to be remembered, excuse me, as somebody who made a difference.
Okay. All right. Well, with that said, we're going to end this portion of the interview. Again, thank you very much, Sheriff Blaise Smith, for joining us by phone. And we hope that a lot of the questions that voters have asked us and that we have asked you have now been satisfied and that they have the answers straight from the horse's mouth, as I like to say. But thank you so much, and we wish you well and hope to see you back in office soon. Come on back right here with us on KWBJ TV 22.
God bless.
God bless you too. Welcome to the Voice of the Coast. I am your host, Danica. Along with me, we have Colonel Gary Driskell, who's the Chief Deputy with St. Mary Parish Sheriff's Office. Thank you very much for being here with me. I appreciate it.
Thank you for the invite.
Just to kind of piggyback on what we talked about earlier, I talked about the sheriff in his absence physically at the sheriff's office, and you as the Chief Deputy, I wanted to first ask you, has that affected the structure of your job, not having him there physically?
Well, the sheriff is definitely missed. I mean, he's our leader, but he has also taught us many things in how to run the show in his absence. So we have continued to give a very professional service to the people of the parish.
Yeah. And of course, you are an admin, you're an administrator.
Yes, ma'am.
To kind of describe maybe the morale of the department overall. I mean, you have the patrol division, of course you have the administrative officers, you also have the correctional facility. What's the morale in each of those areas? Each
of them are good. I mean, as we talked earlier, they all miss the sheriff. You know, they miss him being around, you know, his jokes, his knowledge that he shares. But all of them are very professional people. They're doing a very professional job, and morale's good. Has it pushed you a little bit? Oh, without a doubt. I mean, you know, you always have the sheriff to lean on as a chief deputy. You know, you get his knowledge and pick his brain. And now, you know, a lot of it, they're picking my brain and coming to me for everything. Yeah. So that's something that you're okay with. Like you've gained their trust, I guess, because now you're kind of in that leader. Correct. Well, you're already a leader, but a little bit more top tier. Yes, I mean, I've been in law enforcement my whole adult career, and seen most of it. Never said I'll see it all, because there's always something different. But yes, they do lean on me, and I look forward to that. It's a challenge, and I like it. Okay. Now we're going to switch gears here. It's unfortunate today we had a bomb threat at Morgan City High School. Today's date is October 17th. So I mean, we're just kind of putting this out there. It just happened to fall on the day that I was going to be interviewing you. And we had the town hall meetings in Patterson, and that was with law enforcement. And it's, you know, the active shooting, the relationship, the community policing, all of that. What are your thoughts about the town hall meetings, particularly when it comes to things like bomb threats and active shooting? The town hall meetings was very good, if you ask me. It had a lot of information that was being shared that's going on, and concerns in the parish. And, you know, the bomb threats, the active shooter, that all is very close to me. You know, I have a daughter that graduated from Morgan City High School. I have a son that's still in school. So it is very close to my heart because, you know, the kids are our most precious treasures that we have. So we have been doing a lot of things with the school board and the different schools, teaching different classes such as first aid, what to expect if there is an active shooter so that they can react better and assist more. And they have been very receptive, and, you know, and that was things that was brought up in that town hall meeting. Yeah. So we're doing more. We're trying to, I mean, mental health was discussed. So we're talking more with mental health personnel, trying to get more educated in what we can do as law enforcement to help, because a lot of that, if you ask me, is coming more and more onto law enforcement. You know, the mental health facilities, you know, they don't have the money, you know, that they've been used to, and it's difficult for them. So I think we need to learn more about what's going on as far as mental health. How do we react better to dealing with mental health personnel? And so we're on board with them and talking to them more and more, trying to get more assistance from them.
And that you're right. Your jobs, your job titles, your duties have really changed, especially when it's dealing with the community, because you have this mental health aspect. Speaking of which, I mean, what about the community policing? Has that changed at all?
Yeah, a few months ago, I enacted that these guys need to get out more, speak to the community, see what's going on, see if there's anything that we can help with, if there's information that we need to get from them, what's going on in their neighborhoods. Plus, I love when our deputies are out there playing basketball, throwing the football with these kids, getting to know these kids. So I think that's a great thing.
Awesome. Well, we're going to pick it back up. We have just another segment. Come on back right here on The Voice of the Coast with yours truly. Welcome back to The Voice of the Coast. Let's get it on right now. We have Colonel Gary Driskell, who is the Chief Deputy with St. Mary Parish Sheriff's Office. Okay, so we were talking about community policing and that you are actively policing in the community. Do you find that the see something, say something, that's kind of come up, especially in the Franklin community?
Yes.
Do you find that's still an obstacle, getting people to talk, to voice what's going on?
Yeah, sometimes it is. I mean, we still have to get the people's respect and trust, and that's why I want to do more community policing. And I've actually myself is going out and knocking on doors, talking to people, and seeing if there's, you know, things that need to happen or what their opinion is on law enforcement, so we can improve our relationships with the people that we serve.
Would you say you're being more proactive or reactive in that measure?
I think it's definitely proactive.
Okay. Something else I want to talk about, I mean, is the drug epidemic. I mean, it's everywhere.
It
I will
is.
tell you something that I mentioned. It was, you know, if I could find that interview, I would say, not saying I called it, but I said, if we get heroin, particularly heroin, introduced in this community, it's going to be something crazy. And it's not just that. I mean, obviously you have other different drugs out there, but you know, that's one of the, I believe, just one of the more dangerous kinds that's out there. But what do you say about this epidemic, and are you guys able to get a handle on it?
I think we're doing a pretty good job. It's a war that we probably never win. As long as there's drugs out there, people will want them and use them. But I don't feel that St. Mary Parish is as bad as other parishes. I see that, you know, talking to other law enforcement agencies, it's worse in other areas. We know that some of our biggest narcotics dealers are going to other parishes to buy the drugs to come back to St. Mary Parish to sell. And we target those big drug dealers. We want to cut off the head of the snake. You know, we don't want to start at the bottom. We want to end it at the top.
Now, here's something I want to address, and typically at KWJ, I will tell you this, we do our best not to address rumors or anything that doesn't have any substantial meat or sources. However, social media is kind of where it's at, and it's unfortunate. It's kind of what's in my job description now, monitor what's on social media. And some of the things that have come up are many of the former employees voicing and speaking up saying, I left the sheriff's department, I quit, or I resigned. And speaking to that, would you say that there are any problems internally, or is this just something that's normal?
It's normal. I don't think there's any problems internally. We have a very professional group of administrators that they're going to do their jobs. And of course, sometimes our employees will not agree with their assessment of the employees' actions. And they will quit, terminated, or whatnot. And it's an unfortunate situation. But with social media nowadays, yes, everybody posts Lord knows what. And that's, you know, they have that right. But at the sheriff's office, will we post something like that? No, it's a privacy thing for us.
Well, with this remaining time that we have left, I mean, do you have anything that you'd like to say? I mean, moving forward, you are the chief deputy. Again, like you said, pushing yourself a little bit more, kind of putting yourself in a higher position, you know, to some degree. Now folks are asking you questions.
Yeah.
You know, what would you like to tell the public? Because I know the comments and the questions have been coming forward.
They have been, and what I'd like to talk about though is we started a crime suppression unit. It's a group of 4 or 5 guys that go out and they go to the areas with being hit the most. If it's firearms or if it's shots being fired, if it's car burglaries, whatever. These guys are going out there to those areas and hitting those areas very hard. I know last year we picked up about 25 guns. This year we picked up about 75 guns so far. And we're very proud of that, being proactive.
Well, thank you very much for your time, and that is our time. We'll see you guys next time. Take care.